Hi, I'm Karl Principal Broker at Kline May Realty. Thank you for joining me for our Q&A with Kline May. Our episode today is going to actually be a two-parter. We've got a lot to talk about, and for that reason we set up a little bit of a two-part coffee comparison. We're going to be comparing the classic, famous Starbucks breakfast blend to a local store's generic. So to get started with our topic, what I want to talk about today has been in the headlines. I was going to refrain from talking about it until things were official. But the NAR settlement that has been in the recent headlines has not been approved by a judge, but there has been so many falsehoods. That sounds like maybe it's intentional. I don't think the media has been intentionally false, but there have been so many things published over the last 2 weeks that are just simply not true. So I wanted to address some of those. The first thing is there have been lots and lots of headlines that have said the National Association of Realtors, because of this lawsuit, will now no longer require all of its members to charge 6% commission. That's totally and completely false because the NAR does not ever require us to do that. In fact, there are several fail-safes in place to make sure that realtors completely promote open competition and are very clear with folks that commissions are not set by any law, multiple listing service, or outside entity. Each firm gets to set their own price, just like any other business would. The second myth that I think needs to be busted is there have been lots and lots of headlines saying that this lawsuit and settlement is going to dramatically reduce the cost to buy a home, and that simply also is not at all true. In the first place, we're talking about commissions, which are a small percentage of the overall price. So even if they completely went away and every realtor in the world decided to work for free, it wouldn't really dramatically affect the price of homes. And the second thing is this suit doesn't really change what a real estate firm can charge for their services. What it does is it says that in order to place a listing in a multiple listing service, which is the big database where all of our listings live and the big database that feeds Realtor.com and Zillow and all those public sites, that in order to do that, in the past, the listing firm had to offer some amount of compensation to another firm if they would bring a buyer. That rule has gone away. And in fact, not only has the rule that you must offer compensation gone away, that field in the MLS, that little spot where we could all see what another firm was offering, will go away totally. So that won't be part of the equation anymore in terms of the data that we see in the MLS. But the settlement still makes it very, very clear that we can continue to do business that way. That amount of cooperation just can't be published in the MLS. But I want to make sure people understand that prices are not going to drop really quickly. Buyers agents are not going to be working for free. Things like that are not going to change. Buyers agents will still represent buyers, listing firms will still represent sellers, and everybody will be paid in the end. The mechanics of that may change a little bit in terms of how realtors communicate with each other, but as far as buyers and sellers go, they're not going to see too much of a difference at all. Back to our coffee competition. So we'll start out with the Starbucks Classic Breakfast Blend. And that's actually very good. You know, I've probably mentioned before on this that I'm not a huge Starbucks fan. I feel like their coffee is a bit too strong and bitter at the Starbucks location. Made it here in our own kitchen, and it's a very good cup of coffee. If you've got a coffee you'd like me to try, or if you've got a question about this NAR lawsuit or anything else, please send that to me at questions@klinemay.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.